My name's Jesse. I've been skating, I would say about like all my life, but inline skating about 5 or 6 years since I would say just before COVID happened. Initially, I started skating when I was like 5 or 6. I was living in Canada at the time and my father was into hockey, so he put me into like toddler hockey. That's how I learned how to start skating. And then right before the pandemic, I sort of had gotten into it with my now ex. We sort of started skating together, and even when we broke up, I just never stopped. Nowadays, I try and skate like at least a couple times a week. I would say as often as I can, but generally a couple times a week at least. The best part of skating is definitely the feeling of just unlocking a new trick. Like especially if you've been working on a trick for like sometimes even months. Like the moment when it like finally clicks and you know that you've got it is extremely satisfying. And for the worst part of skating, I would say it's probably just the injuries. Like I've gotten better about like wearing protection, that sort of thing. Yeah, just scars all over, and yeah, that sucks. I would say my biggest influence in skating is sort of like the style that's sort of commonly known as wizard skating now. It's sort of like a flat ground, urban inline skating. It's sort of like comes from freestyle skating. Sort of like my biggest influence in terms of people would be obviously the originator of that style, Leon Basin, amazing skater. And then more recently, the person who I love watching the most is Nicola Torelli. He's just like a master. He's just amazing on the skates. I just aim to replicate everything he's doing. I want to one day be able to do. It's really important to me to have places to skate and places to practice. So skate parks are super important to me. I do a lot of city skating, so I'm not always skating at the park, but I think it's important for the culture, you know, have a place for people to gather, work on skills, just hang out. Skating has helped me, like mostly I would say in terms of like my physical fitness. I personally don't like working out or getting exercise, but I just think skating is fun, right? Like I don't consider it like a chore to do. So that's one of the big things. Other than that, I would say like socially, it's nice to get out and like meet people, get out of your comfort zone. I remember I used to be like super vibed out going to the skate park, and now it's like chill. And I think that's crossed over into a lot of other social interactions in my life. Like I think in addition to like the physical health, I think like getting your body moving, getting the blood flowing is also good for your mental health. Being out in the sun obviously is good for your mental health, and yeah, it's great just to have an excuse to not be cooped up inside all the time. Yeah, I feel a huge sense of community with the skate community. Like partly because it's a small community. Like even globally, it's a small community. Like to the point where I know that if I wanted to personally talk to like the owners of skate brands, it's pretty easy to do. Like I could just DM them on Instagram and be pretty confident that they'll get back to me and like have a chat, like either about their stuff or just in general. It's nice to know that if I go to a new city, there's like a built-in group of people with the same hobby that like is gonna be pretty welcoming. And even just here in Santa Fe, like there's a few people that I skate with. We try and get out once a week, although with the winter, everyone's skiing now. Yeah, it's just great. It's like the negative view, I think a lot of it is BS. I think unfortunately, the skate park is just like a public space where like, yeah, you can get weirdos here, but you get weirdos in like every public space. I mean, I would say people would definitely prefer all the skaters are skating the skate park rather than out on the street, like skating their storefronts. I'm glad there's an alternative for people so they're not just in the street in traffic all the time. Words to live by, I would say do what's fun and don't do anything that stresses you out as much as possible. That's what I try and live by. I think if it all interests you, if skating interests you even a little bit, I think it's worth trying out. It's a lot of fun, and generally I think that people are extremely welcoming. Everyone in the sport is trying to make the sport bigger than it is now. So yeah, try it out. Get a pair of skates, get skating. Come on out here. Let's go.